Okay, good evening, everyone. We are holding over here by another week of the weekly Parsha. PARSHAS TOLDOS, very famous Parsha with the birth of Yaakov and Esav, and what seems to be the stealing, I guess we would call it the Brachas, that Yaakov Avinu takes from Esav. However, all of the Mefarshim spend a lot of time to explain that Yaakov Avinu, Chas v'shalom, that he would ever steal anything. Yaakov Titan emes Yaakov. Yaakov was the midi, is the trait of emes, of truth, and clearly everything that he did was measured with the proper way and the proper path. Even the words that come out of his mouth, they're all measured in the right way, that he should not be lying to his father Yitzchak, and therefore Yaakov does things the way that he's supposed to. One of the puzzling aspects, remember, Yaakov is coming, Esav is coming to receive a tremendous, gigantic bracha from their father Yitzchak. Now, Yitzchak is going to impart a blessing that is going to last Klal Yisrael for all of generations. And he's getting himself ready, he's preparing himself to be able to give over that bracha in the way that is going to be best possible. Now, Yitzchak is a Navi, he's a prophet, and therefore he is going to use his prophetic vision, his Ruach HaKodesh, to be able to pass over the blessing to his son. Again, he thinks that it's Esav. In the end of the day, it's going to be Yaakov Avinu, but he's getting ready to pass it over. Now, the Rambam writes that a Navi, when a prophet would receive their prophecy, it wasn't like on the spot you become a prophet and you get your prophecy. There is a hachana, there's a preparation that every prophet needs to go through in order to be able to receive prophecy. As we'll see in the Rambam, for those of you that are listening along in the mornings, when we get to Moshe Rabbeinu, it's a different story altogether. Moshe Rabbeinu is off the charts. He gets nevuah whenever he wants. He speaks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu whenever he would like, and Hashem speaks to him no matter what. But the Rambam writes, Kol ha-neviim ein miznamnin b'chol sheyirtzu. All the prophets, again, except for Moshe, but all of the other prophets, they can't get nevuah, they cannot get prophecy anytime that they want. Ela mechavnim daitan v'yoshvin smechin v'toiv leiv. Rather, they have to sit and focus in their minds, and they have to be besimcha, with joy. V'toiv leiv, their hearts have to be good and glad. Umisbaited, and they have to sit in almost like isolation, and just they have to go into the zone, the trance of nevuah, of prophecy. She'ena nevuah shora lo mitoich atzvus, because nevuah, prophecy, will not dwell upon a person if they are sad. V'lo mitoich atzlus, nor will it come upon them if they are lazy. Ela mitoich simcha, the only time that a prophet will have real prophecy is when he's simcha, he is in a state of joy, because the Shekhinah, which he's trying to call upon at this moment, he's trying to receive, only will dwell upon a person when they are besimcha, when they are in joy. So the Navi, in order to receive nevuah, he's got to be in a state of elation and simcha. Says the Rambam, says lefikach, therefore, b'nei ha-neviim lifneim nevel v'toiv v'chalil. All of the Nevi'im, when they would try to get into this transcendental state of nevuah, prophecy, they would have to have instruments playing in front of them, v'kin, or even a harp, v'mevakshim ha-nevuah, and once they would get into that place where their mind would be so settled, and they'd be so relaxed, and they would be so elevated by the beautiful music that they heard, then they could be mevakesh, then they could ask for the nevuah to come upon them. So a Navi, again, besides Moshe, but every other Navi, every other prophet is going to be the same. The only way they could be able to receive the nevuah, the prophecy, is if there was music that was playing, that was some spiritual music that would get them into the mode, and that would put them into a world that the Rambam even says beforehand, their body has to basically shut down, so that it's only neshama, it's only their mind, it's only their heart that's probing into the heavens. And the Rambam says the body cannot be around, the flesh cannot be getting in the way. They've got to become just a spiritual entity who can kind of leave this world, and that's what the music is doing, carrying them into that place, so they can go and they can receive the prophecy coming directly from Hashem. A earthy human being down here in this world, a grubby mensch, as we would say in Yiddish, who's just in this physical world, he won't be able to be attached to that place of Ruach HaKodesh, of Nevuah, that's transcendental, that is coming from a much loftier, higher world. That's the way of Nevi'im, that's the way of the prophets. So it would certainly make sense that Yitzchak, who was a Navi, he was a prophet, clearly he spoke with Hashem. He has to go into this great world of trance, of Nevuah, prophecy, to be able to give over the prophetic bracha to his son, he thinks is Esav, it turns out it will be Yaakov. He must have to go into some big world over there, removing himself from the body, removing himself from the world, to give the most powerful bracha in the history of all of mankind. And that's why he asked his son Esav, the way that you're going to get me ready for this bracha that I'm going to give you is, I want a big fat steak on the barbecue. That's going to get me in the mood. And this, of course, is a very difficult thing to understand. The Rambam is saying, leave the body behind, shed the flesh, go into a world of where the music, the Vilna Gaon says that music is one level beneath Nevuah, so the music will take you into that world of prophecy, leave everything else behind, and become just a kli, like a vessel of ruchnius that's going to be able to accept the Nevuah. And Yaakov Avinu and Yitzchak says to his son, Va'aseli mat'amim, I want you to make me the tasty treats, kasher ahavti, that I love, ve'vi'li, bring it to me, vo'echela, then I will eat from it, ba'avor tevarechecha nafshi b'terem amos, so that I should be able to bless you before my soul dies. You bring me the steak, you bring me the wine, you bring me the ribs with the barbecue sauce, I can get all over my hands over here, and then I'll give you the bracha that I would like to before my nefesh, my soul, departs me, and I can give you the blessing that will last you for all of time. So the obvious question is, the actions over here, the preparation of Yitzchak seems to be extremely different than that which the Rambam is talking about, and different than a regular Navi would want to do. Why is he asking for all of this? It's not my question. This is really the question of the Rabbeinu Bechaya and the Sforno on this week's Parsha. They offer what seems to be different answers, but perhaps we'll see that they can go together. The Sforno, the Rabbeinu Bechaya writes that really it's similar to what the Rambam is saying. Because since that the goal of the Navi is they have to get to a state of Simcha, to a state of joy. So if the body, to read you the words over here so we can understand. He says, the kavana, the intention of Yitzchak was, Hamat'amim l'tanug haguf v'chushatam. These treats, what we will call over here, is that the food that he's going to eat is going to be, says the Rabbeinu Bechaya, the food that he's going to eat is l'tanug haguf, for the pleasure of his body, v'chushatam, and the taste that he's going to have. I'm sorry. Ein kavanas Yitzchak. The kavanah of Yitzchak is not because he wanted to have a geschmack meal of flesh and of a barbecue and a steak and ribs and the like. That's not what he wanted. He wanted his nefesh, his soul, to be happy and to have ta'anug, to have pleasure. When a person strengthens the koyach, the powers of their body, very fascinating thing that he's saying over here. Something that we would say probably opposite. We always think that a person who's a kadosh is a holy person, a person that's a tzaddik, a righteous person, a person who's going into the world of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he has to decrease the powers of his body in order to shed all of that weight from behind, and then his neshama can soar towards Hashem. That's what we think. And there's a truth to that. I don't know that you could eat 3 double squared meals a day and still be a good Eved Hashem. I don't know that you could eat ice cream after every single meal for dessert and still be a good servant of the Rebbe and be connected to Hashem. But the Ben Bechai is saying over here is, Yitzchak understood, if my body is taken care of completely, and I'm mechazik, I strengthen my goof, my body right now, with the tasty treats that you, my dear son, are going to bring me. So what is going to happen then? Then umitoich simchas hanefesh, my nefesh, my soul then is going to be able to rejoice. Tochol alav ruach hakodesh, then the divine spirit and nevuah is going to rest upon me. Like it says, ein hashchina shoyra, the Shekhinah will not dwell upon a person. Lo mitoich atzlus, lo mitoich atzvus, ella mitoich simcha, unless you are besimcha, you are with joy. So Ben Bechai is telling us, Yitzchak is teaching us a special thing. And this, as we're holding by Wednesday, you'll have to put the turkey meal on the side because it's not going to work with the turkey tomorrow. But when you get past Thursday and you get into Shabbos, one of the main avodas, one of the main things that we do on Shabbos is we like to eat. Jews like to eat. And there's like, it's like never ending. There's like the hollow stomach inside that we can just keep going. Friday night, there's 7 courses. Shabbos morning, there's cholent and shul, and then there's cake and shul, and there's another bowl of cholent and shul. There's 3 whiskeys, because you have to taste each different kind to see, compare and contrast. Then you get home. You don't know how you're going to eat, but somehow the hollow leg just keeps feeding it in. You keep eating and eating and eating and eating. So is there something wrong with that? Yitzchak Avinu is saying that if your kavanah, if your intention when you are eating is, I want to be mechazik, I want to strengthen my body so that my body is taken care of, so it's no longer groaning and yearning for something else to eat, and I'm eating it in the right way. And over here, for example, Shabbos Kodesh, let's say that you're eating all the tasty treats like we're supposed to eat. You're doing it for the sake of enjoying your Shabbos. So then the body's taken care of, and now the soul, the neshama, is able to be in this great state of joy and simcha and radiant jubilation, and it can go to the higher heights, and it can commune and connect with Hashem. With all of the fressing, with all of the eating that we do on Shabbos, you can't go overboard, but you certainly could enjoy. You're supposed to have, with the mitzvahs on Shabbos that have tasty food, fatty foods, sweet foods, enjoyable foods. Again, it can't be overboard where you can't breathe at the end of the meal, but it should be with the amount that you eat that it makes the body feel good. And if the body feels good, then that's taken care of. Your body's not going to bother you anymore. You're not going to hear the pit in your stomach growling. You're going to be able to now focus in on the ruchnias, on the kedusha. You'll sing the zmiros by the table. You'll say divrei Torah. You'll spend time with the family. You'll engage yourself in learning. And that's how a person is going to get close to Hashem on Shabbos. That's what Yitzchak is teaching us over here. Now, the Ben Bechai asks, but I don't understand. Why steak? The Rambam says it was music, it was harps, it was beautiful lyres, it was beautiful cymbals and drums, and it was this melodic, mystical music that would bring them to a higher level. Why is Yitzchak, the great father of Klal Yisrael, the man of din, of judgment? You can't imagine, sometimes you go to a restaurant and you see like a very righteous man sitting there with like one of these big steaks, and well, what is that guy doing over here? I know why I'm there, because I'm not one of those people. I like the big steaks. But what's he doing over here? Could you imagine Yitzchak? He's with the barbecue. What is Yitzchak doing with the barbecue? Get out the band, get the music and play. But he says a beautiful idea. And he says the reason that Yitzchak based his simcha on the food, and that's what he wanted to prepare his body, to be able to have his neshama soar, to be able to receive the nevuah, is because since the bracha is going to be all on gufnim, all on physical things, Tala Shamayim, the dew of the heavens, Ushmani Arts, the fat of the earth, Roiv Dogon Vesirosh, all of the crops and everything like that. Since that's what the bracha is going to be on the physical, Yitzchak said to himself, that since that I want to bless him on that, he wanted his joy that he's going to achieve to receive the prophecy to be based upon food, mimin hadavar shuroitze levarcho bay, from the thing itself that he wants to give a bracha for. And therefore, Yitzchak has told his son, Esav, do me a favor. I want you to make me those tasty treats. You know how to make them, my son. You've been taking care of me all of these years. Your kibbut avim is extraordinary. You know exactly how I like it roasted. Medium well, medium rare. I don't know exactly what Yitzchak's preference was, but Esav knew. And he told him, make it for me exactly that way. That will bring me to a level of simcha. I'll think about the food, which is sustenance, which is what the bracha I'm going to give you. And then the bracha is going to pour out from my heart and my soul. I'm going to give it to you. That's the way Rabbeinu Mechaya says the pshat and the pasuk is. The Sforno says a little bit different. And he says like this. The Sforno writes, Yitzchak was, you read the Parsha and you're wondering what is going on over here. Esav is trying to break out of his mother's womb while he's inside and go to run to the house of Avodah Zarah. Yaakov is trying to run out of his mother's womb and go learn Torah. Esav is born hairy and red. He's called the red man. As a result of that, he's finished already. He's already made. He's out there in the field. He's killing. He's plundering. He's doing licentious things. And the pasuk tells us much earlier in the Torah that Yitzchak loves Esav and Rivka loved Yaakov. And we ask ourselves, Yitzchak doesn't understand who his son is. He doesn't see that his wife was in prepartum depression because she was having a child who was trying to burst out to go to the house of Avodah Zarah. He doesn't see his son looks very unusually red and hairy. Most kids don't look like that. He doesn't hear all the things on the street that are going on. He closed his ears. He didn't hear what they were saying about his son Esav. How could it be? Was Yitzchak so blind that he didn't really know who Esav was? Is that possible? So there are many, many teruts and many answers to that question. One of the most famous ones is from the Maharal, and the Maharal said, no, Yitzchak knew very well who his son was. But he knew that he was a struggling child. He knew that he had all of these bad midas. He knew that his Yitzhar was very big and was holding him back and pushing him in the wrong direction. He knew all of that. But Yitzchak saw that if that young boy is going to overcome all of the negative things that are going on inside of him, and he will rise to the challenge and overcome the Yetzer Hara, then Esav is going to become a tzaddik, not only on par with Yaakov Avinu, it could be even greater than the Yaakov Avinu. And therefore, what did he love about Yitzchak? He loved the great potential that was in his son. If only he'll reach that potential, he'll be something that is above and beyond what anybody could imagine. So the Sforno says over here, why did Yitzchak ask Esav to bring him the mat'amim, to bring him these tasty treats? Ratza b'mat'amim. The reason he wanted them, kedei asek b'chibur. He wanted that his son Esav is going to get involved in kibbur av and honoring his father. He wants that Esav is going to do a mitzvah of honoring his father before he's going to give him the bracha. Why? Ubezet tachol alav habracha, because only in that way will the blessing that Yitzchak is going to give be able to find a resting place in Esav and his life. Even though that Yitzchak did not recognize all of the rishas, the wickedness of his son Esav, Mikol Makam, nevertheless, he's not stupid. This is Yitzchak Avinu. He didn't really believe that Esav was worthy of having the greatest blessing in the world come to him. That was in his heart to bless. He saw that. Therefore, fine. And therefore, what did he say? He said, since that Yitzchak is really not worthy of receiving the bracha, I know that he's not the biggest tzaddik in the world right now anyway. I heard some rumors about him on the streets over there, what things that he's doing. I see that he was born red and he was born hairy, and it's very unusual. I heard something about the Bechor. I don't know what it says, Yitzchak. He can't be worthy completely of receiving the blessing the way that it is. But if he does a mitzvah, he goes above and beyond what he's supposed to do for me. I'll send him, he has to go, imagine everything he had to do. He had to go out to the field. He had to hunt. He had to find the one that his father likes. He had to shecht it and skin it and salt it and roast it exactly the way that his father likes. He had to serve it on the plate with the vegetables and the rice and the potatoes exactly the way that his father likes it. Then he had to come and bring it into his father. And his father said, if my son is going to do all of that for the sake of honoring me, that mitzvah is going to bring about a big bracha, a blessing in his life. I then will be able to bless him because my blessing has something to hold on to right now. It's a very important lesson that the Sforno is teaching. We go sometimes to Rabbanim, we go to Gedolei Yisrael, we run around the world getting bracha after bracha after bracha. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. Please Hashem, please Hashem, please Hashem, please Hashem. We ask for brachas and brachas and brachas. And Hashem says, where's it going to rest? What exactly have you done to make yourself into the kli, into the vessel, that there's a place for my blessing to rest upon you? Said Yitzchak to Esav, I know you, my dear son. I want to give you the most powerful blessing in the world. It's not going to work the way that you are right now. You go and you get involved in kibbud aveim. You go get involved in honoring me and do all these things that I'm asking you to do in order to get the meat exactly the way that I want it. Once you do that, I can be mavarch you, I can bless you. And the same thing is by us. We all want blessings in life. We all want HaKadosh Baruch Hu's bracha. We want, if somebody gives the bracha, Jews are allowed to be mavarch. We're allowed to bless each other. Could be like what it says in the Gemara, Al te birches hedget kal beinecha. The blessing of a simple person should not be light in your eyes, because we never know the power of bracha, of blessing that a person has. But if you want the blessing to rest upon you, you must do something to merit and to be worthy of having that. Says the Sforno, what is that? Do another mitzvah. Pick something that is unique and special. There's a beautiful ma'aseh with Reb Chaim Kreisworth, one of the Gaonim, one of the genius Rosh Yeshivas of this generation. He passed away, I don't know how, maybe 10 years ago, something. He was diagnosed as a relatively young man. He was diagnosed with the machla, with cancer. And the doctor's prognosis was not very good at all. And they told him, we can try this and we can try that, but we have to be honest with you, Rabbi, we don't know what is going to be. So he went to the great and the saintly Steipler Gaon, the father of Chaim Kanievsky, and he told him, I'm a young man, I have a wife, and I have kids. This is what the doctor says. They don't know what's going to be. Rebbe, give me a bracha. Give me a bracha that I should have a refuah shleima. Give me a bracha, the treatment should work. So the Steipler told him that every single morning, every single morning we say in our davening the following words. Elu. And we say, Elu devarim shalom oichel periseyem ba'olam hazeh. These are the things that a person will eat from their fruits in this world. And the ultimate reward is waiting in the world to come. Ve'eluhain, and it gives a long list over here. In the list, it says the following. You should go to the shul early in the morning and be there at night as well. Bring guests into your home. And you should visit the sick. And you should take care of the kala. You should help the kalas come find what do you call it? They should help to marry them off and the like. And you should bury the dead. So the Stipler said, what exactly is going on over here? It says, you should visit the sick. Kala, you should take the kala, walk her down to the chuppah, and bury the dead. Bikur chaylim and burying the dead goes together. Someone is sick and you go to visit them, the next thing that comes after the person is sick is that they die, Rahman al-Islam. So those two things should have gone together. Why did Chazal stick hachnasas kala, taking a kala to the chuppah, paying for her wedding gown, paying for the wedding, paying for their expenses? Why did he put that in between the visiting the sick and burying the dead? Said the Stipler is coming to teach you that if you will involve yourself in the mitzvah of hachnasas kala, you will make that your special mitzvah. Then the chayla, the sickness that you have, the death that is lurking around the corner, will be pushed far away from you. And you will have the bracha of health and refuah, and you are not going to die now. So he told him, you take it upon yourself to make sure that the kalos, the brides and Klal Yisrael, are able to get to the chuppah. You take care of their needs, Hashem is going to take care of you. And that's exactly what Rav Chaim Kreisler did. He ended up beginning an organization that was dealt with hachnasas kala, bringing the brides into their marriages. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu ended up pushing off his sickness for many, 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 many years, and he lived to be a ripe old age. Says the Sforno, if you want bracha in your life, you want the bracha to come true, the blessings that you daven for, the blessings that you receive from other people, the blessings that you got from Gedolei Yisrael, you need to become a vessel that's going to be able to receive the bracha in your life. So it could just very well be that these two ideas of the Rabbeinu Bechaya and the Sforno, some are a little bit connected to each other. The Rabbeinu Bechaya is saying over here that the reason that Yitzchak was choosing the flesh was to make himself happy, because that's the bracha that he wants to give. So he needed to get to that state where he would be able to give the blessing in the greatest mood of simcha, of joy. The Sforno is saying, but it was specifically that he's asking his son to do it because in order for that blessing to be chal, to rest, his son has to have a schus, he has to have a merit. So on one hand, Yitzchak wants to give the bracha in the best way. On the other hand, he wants it to be received in the best way as well. So therefore, it all revolves around, what could my son Esav do for me that's going to bring me to the state that I need to be? But it's also going to make him into the vessel, into the kli, that's going to be able to receive the beautiful bracha that I'm going to give. Now, of course, Esav did what he was supposed to do. Yaakov did what his mother told him to do. And the major bracha that Yitzchak ends up giving goes over to Yaakov and not to Esav. And that's why when Yaakov walks in, he did everything that his mother told him to do. And Yaakov, the Ishtam Yoshe Ba'ala, he was sitting in the tents, always learning. He certainly was a vessel that was able to receive the bracha from his father. I want to leave you off with one more story, just that we'll understand what it means to become this kli, this vessel that will receive the brachas of Hashem. The story is it was in Eretz Yisrael. And there's a moil in Eretz Yisrael. This is a real name. His name is Rabbi Avram Salem. And he was going to Netanya to do bris milah, and he had many, many brisim that he had to do on that particular day. It was a very busy schedule for him. In Eretz Yisrael, where there's Bli Ayin Hara, maybe hundreds of babies that are being born every single day in the frum world. So the Moilim are very busy. And he goes to the Tanya, and he had the last two brises that he had to do. One was at 7 o'clock at night, and the other one was at 7:50. The other one was at 7:15. Now, I'm sorry, one was at 7, and then there was one right after that, which means like this: it was summertime, so Shkia, the sun going down, is very late, but 7:15 is the last time of the day that you're able to do the bris. So he had one at 7, and he had one after 7. Now these Moilim, they're like, they have speed. They can do things chick-chock, as we say. You can do a bris 4 minutes or less, or your money back. It's better than dominoes, I'm telling you. You get it, they know how to do it very fast. So he's now getting ready. Everything is going. So we had like 5, 6, 7 brisim that day. He now gets to the 7 o'clock bris. And he knows, I got to do this bris. And from the time that this bris is over, I only have until 7:15 to finish the other bris, which is not so far away, but I have to get there. He comes in, and Baruch Hashem, it's ready to start on time. He's done with the bris at 7:04. He walks out of the house where the bris was. He goes to his car. He looks at his watch. 11 minutes. 11 minutes to get to the place where the next bris is and do the bris before 7:15. He starts driving, and as he's driving, he suddenly hears the car, the sound that clunkers like to make. And the next thing he sees, billows of smoke coming from his muffler. The car is not going. He looks at his watch. It's 7:06. I got to get to this bris, otherwise I'm not going to make it on time. He gets out of the car. To call a taxi right now, it's not going to be too long. He looks and he sees there's a car that's pulling up right near him, and he waves him like this. Can you do me a favor? Can you give me a ride? I have a bris. I have to get there now. The driver is a non-religious fellow. Okay, he's not a religious guy. He sees the rabbi in distress, and he says, "Fine, I'll take you." He says, "Just take the address. Just go." They drive. They get to this place, and the moil's talking to this guy. He says, "I'm just trying to get the bris milah done by the end of the day. You're Hashem's messenger." And he says, "I'm just going to keep saying to him, you just keep driving." So this secular Jew is very touched by the rabbi's sincerity, and he's driving as fast as he can. They pull up in front of the house, and he says, "Rabbi, you have 3 minutes." He runs in, and he gets the bris done before 7:15. Mamash, fastest bris, Guinness Book of World Records, you can't imagine. And the driver, as he was leaving, he said, "Rabbi, I'm so impressed. I'm going to wait for you. I'll take you back to your car where you have to go." The rabbi walks out. He's beaming, shining like a light. He's so happy. He did the bris. And he tells the guy, "I'm so grateful to you. You have no idea what a mitzvah you did." And the driver looks at him. He says, "Rabbi, my name is Shimon." He said, "If I did such a great mitzvah, I want to ask you for a bracha. I'm 45 and I'm not married, and I want so badly to get married and start a family of my own. Please, Rabbi, if I really did a big mitzvah, please bless me that I should get married." And the rabbi put his hands on Shimon's head, and he gave him a big, heartfelt bracha, and he told him, "I look forward to the schus to give your firstborn son a bris milah be'ezras Hashem." They shook hands and they parted ways. Exactly 1 year later, Rabbi Salem receives a call. He says, "Rabbi, do you remember me, Shimon, the driver?" "Yes, Shimon, what happened?" He said, "You should know that 2 months after the bracha that you gave me, I got married. And I'm calling you today to ask you if you'll be the moil by our son's bris." When you do a mitzvah, that's when the bracha has a place to rest. Said Yitzchak to his son Esav, "I know you're not the greatest guy in the world, and you need some extra schusim, some extra merits in order for this blessing to come. So go and work on Kibbutz and do everything you need to do, and then I'll have a place for the blessing. Once I get to that place, that transcendental place of Simcha, I'll give it all over to you. May we be Zeichem Yetz Hashem, that we utilize our opportunities of mitzvahs, our opportunities to grow, our opportunities to steig in Torah and Tefillah and Chesed, all the different things, Hachnasas Kala, Hachnasas Orchim, you name it, whatever it is. And in that zechus, all of the brachas that we want and that we've received and that we heard of, they should all rest upon us in the merit of the mitzvahs that we do for the sake of Hashem and His Torah. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi Horowitz.
You're welcome.